What's up, Facebook land? How y'all doing? Good morning, guys. It's Knowledge by Nikki with 1K. That's knowledgebynikki.com at Gmail. Everything. Twitter, LinkedIn, uh, uh, you name it. Knowledge by Nikki, everything. Instagram. I managed to find something that I can give one name for everything. So how you all doing today? How you doing today? I have been talking to many of my coachees. I coach two groups. I actually coach a group called Aspire and a group called Stretch. And we're in goal setting mode. That's where we are, guys. So we're in the mode where everybody has these different goals. You know, some people want to call them resolutions. I just call them goals. And they shouldn't only be set at the end of the year for the next year. But the one thing I can tell you that all of my coachees do lack, and we're working on that, and that means the ones that are with a salon and without a salon but aspiring to have one, is saving money. Everybody just, it's they have a hard time trying to make everything work and be able to save money, and they're like, I don't have any money to save. And I have told them, many of you actually, if you all go onto my or look back into my archives of some of my videos, if you look on my, I want to say the holiday, Labor Day, I think it was Labor Day, I felt the need. God had been tugging on me to share some of my struggles with the world. A lot of times people don't understand is that things like saving money, things like steady moving and keeping going in the direction of your goals, that you don't only do that when times are good. You have to come up with a disciplined way of still being able to maintain reaching and striving towards your goals, even when everything is not exactly the way you want it. So if you all go back, you'll be able to see that video, and I'll share some things with you and some decisions I had to make about continuing to press on even when things were terrible and just in total disarray. So it's not conditional, is what I'm saying. There are people that I don't care if it's $5 a day. Most of us spend that on food. I'm a Starbucks junkie. Most of us spend that. We throw that away. So what I want to do is I want one of the goals. This is for my salon owners and beauty professionals. I want one of your goals to be to save some money next year. Now, one thing I also realize is that if we don't have a system by which we do stuff, we need a system. We need a way to do this where we can stay on track, a way where we know we're going to do this day, that day, that day, that day, or it's easy to get off. And that's in anything. If you don't have a system, it's hard to create disciplines when there's no system because you're just all over the place. So let me tell you something I came up with. And I came up with this maybe about 2 years ago, just kind of playing around with numbers and trying to figure out how this was for me first, y'all, how I can get myself onto a more consistent basis of saving money, even in small increments, all the way to larger amounts, and know that I'm going to have a certain amount of money at the end of the year. So this is my board. Look at my board, guys. And it's got to be the easiest board in the world. I did this about a year ago. It was probably one of my biggest Facebook lives to date. And I think we got cut off because I was using my mobile device, and you know how it goes. It freezes and it just does its own thing. Gets too hot. Anybody had that where it says that the phone or something is too hot and it's got to cool down? So I think it was one of those days. So I don't think I got to finish it. But I've done this in classes, and I wanted to do it for you all today. I think it is a perfect time because it starts in January. So we only got about, 2.5 weeks left before January comes. So let me explain to you how this savings calendar works. And it's simple. The goal of this savings calendar is to save $10,000 in 12 months. Now, some of you all may be like, yeah, right. I'm telling you, I had this done on like a smaller board, and I actually had a couple of my coachees that tried it maybe like a year ago. Some people that joined the program like a year ago. And they said they could not believe. Now, we ain't talking about people that's making 7 figures. Some of them aren't even making 6 figures, and they got bills and kids and everything that everybody else has. And they said they could not believe. One of my girls in particular, she lives in Dallas. She said, girl, I could not believe that in, I think, like 2 months, she kind of picked her own numbers, almost like a bingo board. And she saved like about $2,000. I think she said like $2,500 actually in like 2 months. And she said that had never happened before. She had never been able to do that before. So she got really into it. She had one drawn out for herself and she was excited. So she's on a roll. But I want us to focus on this and focus on a dollar amount. The way this board works, I just gave you a dollar amount, $10,000. If you say I want to save 20, if you say I want to save 30, I don't care what it is, you can actually easily save on this board 25 grand a year. If you're really aggressive, you can do it. I've done it. So what I want to show you is how this works. And it's real simple. We got 12 months of the year. So we got January all the way through December. And then we got 31 days, which goes all the way down. You see that? So we're really just creating a multiplication timetable. But there's a method to it. In 31 days, and most stylists, owners, salon professionals, even barbers, we think of things kind of in weeks. That's how we function. That's how most of us pay rent. That's how most of us decide we're going to, from week to week, we kind of make decisions. So I did this with that mindset that at the end of the week, this is one of the things that we're going to discipline ourselves to do along with paying bills and paying rent and whatever else we do come that Monday after we've worked. So what I said I was going to do is we did the days of the week, and the days of the month, and we actually did the months of the year. So all of these numbers actually represent a dollar amount. It's actually a real dollar amount. So if you see a 4, that means $4. If you see 39, that means $39. And by the way, y'all, if you all know how long it took me to draw this board and to make these lines straight. So I took a picture because somebody going to have to produce this board for me because I will never draw it again. It took me like an hour and a half to draw this board, right? So I got to make sure I don't bump into it. I'm going to start crying right here on Facebook Live if I rub something off. So once we establish this board, and you can draw this board out for yourself, it's nothing proprietary. I didn't create the multiplication table. I just used it to my advantage. So when we do this, it's really simple. This is January, and this represents every day in January. Now we know all the months don't have 31 days, right? So let me break down how we're going to do this. We want to pick, this is just one way. We want to pick the 7th day, which is the end of the week, once the year starts. So that would be if the years, whatever day the year starts, the 7th day is when we're going to save money. Now you can adjust this. Let's say, let me look at my calendar real quick. Let's say January of 2019, I think, what is the first Monday? Let's look at January. So January, here we are. Well, what do you know? The 7th happened to be Monday. So it worked out perfectly, okay? The 7th is Monday. So this would be the first day that you would actually save money. That actually just worked out. I didn't know that, y'all. I just drew the board out like I normally did. So that means on that day, we're literally going to save $7. That's it. $7. That's all we're going to do. Don't get complicated. I don't care where you put it in a jar. Put it somewhere, though, that you're not going to go back and get it. Get yourself one of these banks that you got to crack them to get it, or put it in an account that you don't easily have accessibility to. I don't really care where you put it, as long as you put it somewhere that you're not going to be constantly dipping back into it. Put it out of the way, don't see it. Easy. Everywhere you see the red mark is the days that we're going to start with the saving concept. So we got $7. Then the next week we got $14. Then the next Monday we got $21. And then the next Monday we got $28. Simple. Easy peasy. That means you got a little break in January. Y'all done spent all your money at Christmas. So you're probably a little low. Clients may, taking a little bit of time off because they at home or they didn't spend their money. And so, that's kind of a slower month for most people. So you haven't saved much. 7, 14, 21, 28. Less than $100. Okay? Then here comes February. It starts to go up now. Starts to go up a little bit. So here we go, February. Same thing Monday. It's every Monday. $14, $28, because it's actually everything now is multiplied by 2. Okay? Because it's the second month, so it's basically just all the multiplications of 2. So $14, $28, $42, $56. We're good. I think that might be a little over $100. I didn't add them individually. I just added everything up together for you. So that might be a little over $100. In 2 months, we ain't saved but $100. We blow that on food. Literally, bad food on top of that. So it's simple. March, we follow the same pattern. And this is for those that are trying to get into a discipline of saving, because if you just kind of be at random on this board, you're probably going to fall off. So I'm giving you a system. on how I know we think, how I know we work. Monday is the day all of our credit cards have already batched to our banking accounts. And so Monday is the day that everything kind of starts and it's even and we start making decisions on Monday. So here we are, March, same thing, 21, 42, 63, 84. Okay, we get a little more aggressive. Then we continue. We go to April, 28, 56, 84, 112. I'm going to go through all of them. Then we go to June, make, a little bit. And your months, most people do a little better when it starts their totals go up. When it starts getting a little warmer outside, people getting color and they're exploring and haircuts. They want a new look and whatever. So you should be making a little more. So you should be saving a little more. So again, we're in June, 42, 84, 126, 168. Okay, so it gets a little more aggressive, but we're making more money. So that's why we do that. July, same thing, 49, 98, 147, 196. Okay, I'm going to explain to you what this other stuff is. Then we get to August, 56, 112, 168, 224. Now let's keep going. September, 63, 126, 189, 252. This is where we are. October, 70, 140, 210, 280. That's where we are. November, 77, 154, 231, 308. See, it gets more aggressive. Okay, it gets way, way, way more aggressive when we do it then. Then we go to December, 84, 168. This is where all the red marks are. I'm doing the red right now. 252, 336. Now, look, if that's all you did, look, that's all I'm going to do. That's as aggressive as I'm going to get because maybe I'm trying to do something. I've invested. I'm opening a new shop, so money is tight. So I still want to save, but I may just be not as aggressive as I normally would be. But look what that gives you, guys. That gives you $5,468. $5,468. I know some of you all have never saved $5,460. I'm sorry. Some of y'all have never saved that. So that's not a lot of money for an entire year. That's just at that, right? Now, what I teach people is that we have to start getting ourselves into the discipline that when we have better days, better weeks, we want to save more. Now, let's say you get in these spring months, April, May, now going into summer, June, July, August, and you're killing it. You had a day, typically you might make only $500 in a day, but this day you did $1,000. You did $1,500, $1,200. Some people, depending on what services you're doing, if you're doing trichology, extensions, color, things that have a higher price or higher ticket, you could easily, I know I do color, and it's nothing for me to have a color tab of $300 something. That's very easy, or $400. So this is something that when you have these moments, you want to borrow from the back end so that you can add to the pot when you have it. Okay, so let me show you what that looks like. And this is just one example. There's 1,000 ways to do this. You can create your own way. I typically borrow from the months that are slow or the months that I don't want to have to pay a bunch of stuff, So example is November and December. Let's say you want to borrow from here. So you can kind of lighten up a little bit because November and December are much higher numbers. So borrowing is everything in blue. What I typically tell people is choose maybe out of November and December, choose maybe 10 to 20 days or so that you want to borrow. That means if I got here in June and I did $1,500 that day and I'm good on bills, I ain't tripping on nothing, everything is where it needs to be, why only save $42 if you actually have more to save? So what I do is I borrow from back here. That means everything in blue, I may just pick one. I just put some things up here. You can actually mark this calendar off as you go. I say, you know what? I'm going to borrow from the middle of December. And I'm going to borrow this 144. I'm going to borrow from here because I made some money today. So I'm going to borrow. And what happens is you kind of cross that off your calendar. You say, I'm good. I'm going to borrow from that and I'm good. So now I do the 42 still, but I also do 144 and I cross that off a board. It's almost like crossing stuff off of a bingo board. So I know when I get in that month, I've already taken care of quite a bit of December. I've already taken care of quite a bit of that, okay? Then I say, you know what? I'm going to borrow some more. So let's say I get here in July and no, I'll take August because the totals get a little bigger. Let's say here in August, it's the 21st day of August. My goal is to save $168, but I made $2,000 that day because I did some color, 2 weaves, had some trichology people come in for consultations. I mean, this is realistic. You can have days like this. If you save $2,000, where was I at here? Why would you only do $168? If you made $2,000 and you're good, put the money away for yourself. Pay yourself more. Not as a salary. This is just as savings. So I'm going to borrow again from one of these days that I've marked. You got 120. You got now, if I did like $2,000 at 168, I'm going to be real aggressive. I'm going to borrow like, see this blue mark? I'm going to borrow like $300. I'm going to borrow, and I'm going to add that. So really, I'm going to save 468, and I'm going to put that away. Okay? You can preset this board, which is what I typically do. I preset it. I don't do it as I go, because if you do that, then you're going to give yourself the option of opting out. So I establish this even before the year starts. I say, you know what? This is what I'm going to do. I mark up the dots on where I want to take money from. And I say, okay, whenever that day comes and I feel like I could, you see, these are all blue, 132, 144, and I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. I got 22 days that I'm going to borrow. That means I'm borrowing from the back end on days or on weeks when things are good. This is how we got to start looking at it. When you have the money, put it away. Okay? And now don't get me wrong. This can also change. Like, let's say if I'll be 50 next year. So because I'm going to be 50 next year, I have a goal. I have a goal to be debt free. I have a goal to have invested in a couple things that I've been looking to. I have these financial goals, and I have a savings goal. So I now am already sitting down saying, you know what? I need to do this, that. So I preset it. I make myself reach it instead of as I go along, okay, look at my money. Okay, I'm going to say, no. I promise you, if you do that, you will not make it through this board, okay? So I chose to be a little more aggressive. So I got 22 days that I'm going to borrow. You may say, you know what? I can't do 22 days. That's fine. I'm just showing you a real easy way of how to save $10,000. I know some people that have done this board. They said, I'm not doing nothing January and February, but they'll go to March and April or maybe May when they know they're busy, and they'll literally save like every other day. They literally will set something up in their like for transfers that will transfer a certain amount of money to a bank account automatically, because you know you can put reoccurring transfers on there. You can do that. So however you need to establish what works for you. I realize we all save money differently, but I do know that it needs to be done in a way where you cannot easily have accessibility to it. I do know that. So let me keep going. So these are what I call, I'm borrowing from my non-busy months. I'm consciously saying, you know what, stuff slow down here. People start going from weekly to bi-weekly. I mean, that may not be everybody's situation, but you choose. I just use November, December as an example. But let's say that's what it is. Then, and let me tell you something else that I see people do. People will take like November and December, and they know maybe they got these big families and they go all out on Christmas. They spend like stupid money, spend $2,000 on dinner for 100 people. I know some people that will get even more aggressive, say September and August, and they won't save anything November and December, but they consciously say, okay, I want to break here. I don't want to save nothing. So I'm going to put all my blue marks somewhere else in this calendar, and I may double this. Instead of me doing 22, because these are bigger amounts, I may say I'm going to find 40 more days. We got 365 days to do this. They may say I'm going to find 40 more days, just somewhere random. And those 40 days are going to have to equal what this would have equaled. Or you may say 50 days. Take it from somewhere in the middle here. I've had people do this and say, I don't want to save no money here. I don't want to save any. I want to be free for November and December, so I'm going to take it from here. So it's a lot of ways to do this, okay? Now, this board is set up, and you see, just showing you what I came up with, when I borrowed 22 days. So I got 22, 24. I just did 2 side by side, 44, 48, 66, 72, 88.96, 110, 120, 132, 144, 176, 192, 198, 216. Skip down a little bit, 253, 276. It gets more aggressive. 275, 300, 297, 324. When I decided, and look what all that adds up to. That adds up to $34.73. That's $3,473. So let's say you made that decision. I don't want to do this in November, December. Okay. Then you figure out where else on this board you can get somewhere close to that figure, to about $3,500. Where else on this board? So you got to do some math. And if you draw this board for yourself at home, please laminate it, because you will be really sick if some of these numbers get wiped out. Okay, and you got to put them back in there. Told y'all it took me an hour and a half to put this on here. Yardstick, trying to make sure the lines are straight. And so this is how you got to do this. So in doing that, that gave me $3,474. That's beautiful. $3,474. That's what that gave me. Okay. So I'm like, oh, I'm on it. Now, mind you, if I do this with this, I didn't add these two together, but if I had to do it, what's that? 33.9, that's about 89.33. $8,933 just with me doing the basic weekly savings and just with me borrowing from the back end, or borrowing enough money, which will give me around $3,500. So I could have borrowed from anywhere. I could even borrow from down here somewhere if I wanted to. Okay? But I want you to pre-establish this board. Now, we ain't at 10,000 yet, right? We're not at 10,000 yet. We're only at 8,900. I should have wrote that down. $8,933. That's where we are. But we want to get to 10,000. What this board is designed to do is, you notice we didn't really go past the 28th of the month. Okay, we didn't even go past that. There are no red marks, because red kind of starts it. No red marks past the 28th of the month. We use the 31st as what we call, you see this? 31st is a bonus. That means every month that has 31 days, which is only March, May, this is 2019, July, August, October, and December. Those are the only months that have 31 days. In those months, or on those days, if you want to make sure you get to that 10,000 and you want to use those days to do it, those are bonus days. Let me tell you also why I wanted to make the 31st bonus days, because we also have 4 months out of the year where we have 5 weeks. So those 5 weeks mean that you have an extra week to do clients. If you're an owner, you have an extra week of rent that people pay you, or you have an extra percentage of commission that's coming to you from your commission workers. Those 5 weeks a year, which is 20 days a year, gives you a whole new pay cycle that you need to take advantage of when it comes to saving. That whole week, and let me see, what weeks are those? Let me go ahead and identify those. Those weeks would be, let me see, am I in 19? Let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4. January has almost 5 weeks. Then we got 1, 2, 3, 4. March has a little bit short of 5 weeks. May has almost 5 weeks. I'm trying to see what month has a full 5 weeks. July has almost 5 weeks. Actually, August has more. You have a couple of them that have like a day or two that goes into the 5 week. Then you have August that has like Thursday, Friday, Saturday, 5 times. And that's kind of how stylists work. Then you have October that has a couple days in the 5 weeks, but not so many. So November, which has Friday, Saturday, 5 times. So those are busy days in the salon. So on those extra days, which in some months average out to a whole week. For some only work Friday and Saturday. Some only work Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. I forgot what month you had that. This is where you have to take advantage. So now that we're in the 4th quarter and we are literally at the last down, literally, for those of you all that watch football, this is the last down. We trying to go over the goal line to win. That's what we're trying to do here. If you want to do that, saving has to become a priority. It has to become something that you do on automatic, not something that you do if the situation arises, or if the situation is optimal, if my conditions of my finances and my working is absolutely where I need it to be. Because we waste money. We all spend money, miscellaneous money on something. So you'll have to make the decision what that thing is and how much you can do without. I'm a Starbucks junkie, so that was my decision. I spent about $10 a day at Starbucks, sometimes 15. I said that is ridiculous. Unless I had stock in Starbucks, that is ridiculous. So what I decided to do was, some weeks I won't drink it at all. And then if I do happen to get it, if I'm out and about, and I typically will try to make it at home, but some days I have to run and I don't get a chance to do it, I'll have like one, maybe two for the whole week. So I've given up that $15 a day, which is really like, at $10 a day, that's $70 a week. So that adds up. That's $70 I can put, here, 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 here. So this is my mindset, is that I got to give up something to make this more. Now, I've been doing this for years, but I have to make this more of a priority. And then if you have something in particular, I just happened to be looking at Facebook this morning, and everybody's posting their goals. Everybody's putting what they want to have and do. And I saw several times where people want to buy a home, and hey, you got to put some money up. And everybody's not going to get FHA. We're 3% down. Everybody's not a first-time home buyer. Everybody's credit is not where they're going to give you 3% down. So you might have to put 5%. You might have to put 10%. I saw people saying, I want to be able to put $25,000 down or put $15,000 down or whatever it is. So if you don't already have it, where you going to get it from? So we got to save that. You're not going to borrow to buy a house. So we have to save that money. And let me tell you something. If you are doing it for that purpose, make sure that you are putting it somewhere that when a bank or some type of lender asks you for your statements, that they can see where the money has been saved. Because if you present a statement and you put that money somewhere in a shoebox under your bed, your paperwork, your financial statements are not going to explain where you got $25,000 from. And therefore, they're not going to give it to you. So make sure when you decide where you're going to save this money, if you're saving it with a real intention to let this be what you put down on some commercial property or some residential property or invest, whatever you're doing, make sure you save it somewhere where you leave a paper trail. Okay, so that's also important. That's kind of a side note just to help you understand that, because I love finances and stuff. So in real estate, I love just learning about all of that. So I wanted to kind of give you that little tidbit. So, okay, again, we got 6 days. 6 days that got 6 months, that have 31 days in it. So I just chose, you know what, that every month that has 31 days in it, on that 31st day, I'm going to save whatever the 31st day says. So here we are. What is this? March. March says 93. May says 155. July says 217. August also has 31 days in it, so it says 248. Then we have October that says 310. And then we have December that says 372. Now, January actually has 31 days in it too, but I figure since we saved such a big piece in December, we might have took our Christmas money and put it away, that we take a little reprieve in January. Now, if you want to add January too, do January. It's on you. This is your board, your money, your life, okay? What this ends up giving me, guys, when I do my bonus days minus January, I'm looking at $1,395 just for the bonus days, just for those days. When I get through adding that up, $5,460, $3,473, $1,395, that gives me $10,328. So I'm over the mark. I'm actually over the mark. I'm going to take some water here. I'm actually over the mark. So my goal was only to save $10,000. But look what I've done. I've been able to save $10,328 in 12 months. January 2019, let's start it. Let's get it started. We cannot anymore. And let me say this. Let me add to this. You can actually have a personal board and you can have a professional board. So you can actually have two boards. That one is for your personal and one is for your business. Now, let me say this. I'm looking in this camera real good. The only way that works is if you got your personal and your professional finances in order and they are separate. That means that even though, yeah, you still do hair in your business, you should be paying yourself. You should have money going into your account, whether you put yourself on payroll, if you have a commission salon, or if you're a booth rental salon owner where you have tenants. You can actually pay rent like everyone else, which means if you do your numbers right, which will be in my Knowing Your Numbers webinar coming up next week. So if you all are interested in that, you can text me at 800-580-8074. And I'm going to make sure you understand how all your money. Okay? If you're a booth rental owner, you can actually pay booth rent just like everybody else. And then the goal is take all your money home. You are only doing your totals based off of all the other tenants. Nail techs, spa, I don't care what you got in there. Eyelash, eyebrow, barbers, I don't care what it is. You are basing the salon's income off of those chairs only, not yours, which means your money, minus if you pay booth rent and you treat yourself like a 1099 employee, then your money is now going home, which means you can do a savings calendar for if you're married and you want to do it for you and your husband, you and your family. You can start your kids off this way. If they working little jobs here and there, making a little money, then this is something that everyone can do no matter what financial situation you're in. So you could have a personal board where you do your personal money, and then you could have a professional board where you do everything professionally. So you can actually have two boards. That way you also can see what the business is producing and able to save, and what personally you're making and able to take home. This is something I want us to stop making it the other thing we do, or stop looking at it as I will save more money when I make more money. No, start small then. I don't care how you do this board. You could say, you know what, I can't do every week. You know, some people have it where I just had a conversation with one of my coachees that actually, she lives near me, so we always meet at Starbucks. That's what we do. We meet at Starbucks. We don't, you know, everybody else, we have 90-minute calls, but we meet at Starbucks and we just hash it out and laugh and talk. And we were talking about when your bills are due. And some of us have bills that are due all through the month. They're just all over the place. Well, a long time ago, I got tired of that. I don't want stuff due every single week. So I got as many of my bills as I could, and I called them and I said, look, I need to change my due dates. Change your due dates. Change your due dates. And most of them will change it. You got a few that won't. Most of them will change it. And I was telling her that because she was saying she hates literally having to deal with bills every single week. So I told her, I said, girl, call and ask them to change the due dates. I did that a long time ago. So I literally don't pay anybody like the first 2 weeks. I don't pay anybody. I don't have anybody that I have to pay. Like the first 16 days, 15 days of the month, I have no one I have to pay. No one. So if you are in a position where you want to have it like that, you say, you know what? I'm going to take the first 2 weeks and I either am going to pay all my bills or I'm not going to pay anybody. And then I'm also going to be, and I could be maybe more aggressive in that first 2 weeks because I don't have anybody to pay. So I can borrow from wherever, like all through this time, the first 2 weeks. Okay, so everything up to the 14th, you can be real aggressive here. And then you may be less aggressive. You may say, look, I'm only going to borrow up here. When it gets down here, I'm just going to do the basic savings. I'm not going to get that aggressive because I got too many people I got to pay. Whatever. The goal is, what I want you all to do, draw this board out for yourself. And I want you all to preset what your intentions are. Come up with a goal, a dollar amount goal, 5,000. I don't care if it's 2,000. If you ain't been saving nothing, then anything is a goal. 5,000, 2,000, 10,000, 20,000, whatever it is, make that your starting point and then figure out where you need to be. Now, the optimal goal, I would love to do this board and have it where I can put magnets up here. This board, I need a magnetized board, so I'm going to work on that, where I can just put magnets. Just, put a magnet here, and then I know I saved that much. That way you can step back at the end of the year and look at the board, and you'll be like, Lord, I saved all that money. Oh, my God. Okay? But this is what I want you to do. Preset the board. Preset it to wherever, based off of your goal. You know what weeks you're busy. You know what weeks you're slower. You know what weeks or what times of the month you have more things you have to pay. You might have kids' tuition. Whatever, mortgage, whatever it is that you got. You determine where you pull these numbers out on this board. But I want us to start planning or you doing this on a regular basis. I want us to start having the discipline to say that saving is not an option, because it's not. We are an industry that if we don't work, we don't get paid. We are an industry that I don't know if any of you all have ever had surgery. I've had 9 in my lifetime. And when you talk about being off for 2 weeks, 4 weeks, 6 weeks, 8 weeks, and God forbid you have something so detrimental where you got to go through rehab. God forbid. Do you know? And for those of you all I'm talking to, y'all know what I'm talking about. That can change everything for you. When you are not able to have any money coming in, you don't have disability, you don't have business interruption insurance, you don't have any of these things. You don't have anything in place to buffer, and you don't have savings. That is a scary situation to be in. And this is just one part. You know, those other things I talked about are things we need to do also. This is just one part of it. This is the most basic part that we have absolute control over. So let's not make it the other thing that we do. Let's not make it an option. And I've given you this board because I wanted my salon professionals, who I love and is my tribe, and to the day I die, I'm going to tell them as much as I can tell them and try to push them to implementing this, because we're getting to age 50, 60, 70 with nothing. And there's nothing worse than being in a position at 60, 70 years old where you have to continue doing hair. You are not doing it because you want to. You have to. There are a lot of my salon owners that are telling me, crying to me, pleading with me to help them figure out in these salons where they got workers and or maybe not, and they really want to back up from the chair. How do you not have to slave or be a hostage to your chair unless you learn what to do with your money? It's not going to happen. You're going to be doing hair for 12 hours, 15 hours, 17 hours a day, and using all of your money to just keep the doors open. That gets old, guys. So these are small tidbits. There's many more. You all, if you really, my knowledge, my Knowing Your Numbers webinar will also be on my Facebook page. I'll be streaming it. It'll be where it's pre-recorded. So, you know, you pay, it'll be $99. It's probably going to be like, I'm going to try to keep it at about 3 hours, but it's a lot. I may have to do it in parts because it's a lot of information that I'm trying to get out there to you. But this is also where I want you to learn more than even just savings. This is just one piece, but this is the most controllable piece. And then we're going to talk about, obviously, insurance, and we're going to talk about how you understand what products cost and what clients are worth to you in a cycle. You're going to understand what product and loss, how to look at a product, a profit and loss statement and know what it means. I'm going to get you to understanding how to cash forecast, how to do balance sheets. And I'm talking about the stylish way. It ain't going to be complicated. It's going to be super simple. And that's going to be on my Knowing Your Numbers webinar, which I might even I'm getting all the stuff together. So it's really a lot of content that I have to put together for you all. So I'm looking to go ahead and run that by next week. I got most of the content together. I'm adding some things because I don't want to miss anything. So if you all are interested in that, just keep going on my Facebook page. You can also go on my website, Knowledge by Nikki with 1K, so NIKI.com, and there'll be a link right under the webinars that you can click Knowing Your Numbers, and we're going to get it together. But this, I want you can do this without that. Even if you don't ever see that webinar, which I hope you do, you can do this without it. You don't even need anybody to help you do this. This is just a decision, okay? And I want us to decide. I've given you 365 days of the year to figure out how you're going to do this and where you're going to pull numbers from and how much you're going to save and what month you're going to do what. And I just gave you an example, but come up with a dollar amount. Come up with a plan before January on how you're going to do this. And then let's get it. Y'all with me? I just want to help you. This is Knowledge by Nikki, your salon professional coach. If you all are interested in coaching, I do that. If you want me to walk you through this and more, webinars, all that stuff you get for free, I do that also. You can actually go onto my Knowledge by Nikki page with 1K. Make sure you put 1K. Y'all keep wanting to put 2Ks in my name. You're not going to find me. And there's a consultation button. It's free. I give you 90 minutes. We sit down, we talk, no cost. And you just kind of tell me what it is that you're looking for. I tell you what it is that I can provide. We make a decision. If I'm for you, if you're for me, and we do it. That's what we do. And I just want to help you get it. I believe that we have an awesome business, that we have more control over it than we think. But we have to change the way we think. We have to. If you join my coaching group, the first book I'm going to give you to read is John C. Maxwell, How Successful People Think. It's a different thought. It's a paradigm shift. It's a different way of approaching what you do. I had a girl call me because, just so you all know, I'm doing the Salon Owners Conference, Salon Owner Strategies Conference that we had this year was phenomenal. And if you go on my webpage, you'll see Salon Owners Conference next year. We had to actually stop selling tickets 45 days in advance. This is a Salon Owners Business Conference. And I have a video of all kind of testimonies. I've actually personally called every single one that came to the conference. They're like, I'm still riding on high. They're like, I just didn't know, and ain't no hair being done. We didn't cut, curl, weave, nothing. We had speakers that were phenomenal. And I want to give a big ups to all my speakers too. They were, I can't even explain how great they were. We got Ivory Mims, Carla Jones, Deshaun Bullard, Alan Thomas, Eddie Spencer, Tish Sutton, I'm trying to think of everyone, John Belt, Bernice Lohman, who is the social media and website guru. I think I got everybody. Well, next year, guess what, guys? We got 16, so we got 8 more. And me. I'm the one that teach at 5:30 in the morning, right? I'm the morning girl. So, but they were there. I never seen stylists sit in a seminar from 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning, all the way to 9, 10 at night and didn't move. I have never seen it. I have never seen it. They said that it was just the best thing they had ever done because it helped them to know how to shift their business. Because it's not just about hair, guys. We got to get this money right. We got to get how we're going to structure our businesses right. We got to get systems in place. I did yesterday. 5 reasons that businesses are failing, especially ours. But we got to think about more than hair. I had a girl that called me yesterday that actually signed up for the conference. She was like, she wanted payment arrangements. I got great payment arrangements too, by the way. So if you go on my site, it only lets you pay in full. If you want payment arrangements, just hit me up, 800-580-8074, because I do custom arrangements. Some people like weekly, some people like monthly. I don't care. We can do it either way. As long as you paid up by October 15th, it doesn't matter because it's going to be in November. But the girl, she called and she said, I asked her, because she did payment arrangements, and I asked her, was she a salon owner? She said yes. And I asked her just some of the struggles. What are some of the things that she has been dealing with in the salon? Her exact word to me was, I'm just having issues with stylists, with loyalty from stylists. So I asked her, I said, okay, you're having issues with loyalty. That's just one of the things. I said, well, when you hire people, what is your hiring practice? What is your interviewing practice? How do you interview? What is the system that you go by? Well, she gave me a lot of different things that she does, and it was pretty extensive. But guess what, guys? Everything she did was only in the area of learning their skill set. It was only about learning their skill set. If loyalty is the issue, which is about character, then how figuring out their skill set, is that going to help you to get more loyal stylists? It's not. So I told her, I said, I listened to everything she had to say. And I told her, I said, let me tell you what the problem is. You are testing people based off of only one part of what you need. You need to test people based off of character. You need to do character interviews. And there are ways, and I talked to her, for a while about how to do this. And she said, I didn't really know that. Yeah. If you're having character issues, then we need character interviews. If you're having technical issues, then we need technical interviews, or both. But in today's society, even corporations have figured this out. Skill set, as long as they got half of it, 60% of it, we can train the rest. Character, they are who they are when they come there. So that's the biggest problem that we're having, is people have poor character. And if you want to be able to get the right person, get the right character, you're going to have to learn and be willing to invest, because they have character assessments programs that you can actually buy into, pay monthly, and be able to administer this to people that actually are coming into your space. There are other things we're going to have to do. Okay? So these are just some of the things that I want us to kind of just think about differently as we go into 2019. But y'all, that's my time. I am out of here. I'll see you again tomorrow. This is Knowledge by Nikki at 9 with 1K. And I hope you got a lot out of this. Please, let's make saving a priority. Peace out, and I'll see you tomorrow.